Hello everyone. In today's video I wanted to show how to play with a controller for those that like to lean back in a more comfortable position. Also, with the release of the PlayStation 5 version of the game coming to us on September the 6th or the 3rd for the Digital Deluxe Edition. So this guide is for you guys as well, since I am using a Ps5 controller. So if you connect the controller to your PC and touch some buttons, the game will jump into controller UI mode. It's actually really cool that Larian developed two totally different UIs. I don't think there would be many other developers going through this amount of trouble to make it that way. So firstly, the menu. If you push the settings button, you open the menu. And if you press triangle, you can quick save and quick load by pushing square. Pretty handy. To get out of the menu, you can press the settings button again, or circle works also. So then to basic movement, which I prefer over a mouse and keyboard actually, since somehow I feel admiring the world from a nicer perspective in controller mode, since you can control your character directly with the movement of the left stick. With mouse and keyboard I usually zoom way out further, while you can move holding the left mouse button. You mostly click where you want to go, and the further you are zoomed out, the less you have to click to make your character go further. In the end it comes down to preference really. But anyway, like I mentioned, the left stick controls the movement very smoothly. The camera follows the character but does not turn with the character. This is what you use the right stick for. So moving the right stick left or right makes the camera orbit your character in the desired direction. Then also with the right stick, to get further from your character, you pull it down. And if you keep pulling it down, you will get into tactical view, which is the O on keyboard. To move out of this tactical view and move back closer, you push the right stick up again. Also, while we're talking about the right stick, if you push it in, which is marked as R3, this does what Alt does on PC basically. We get to a point where you can see something, there we go. So this highlights all the lootable objects in your environments. This is super useful. Unfortunately, you have to hold it. It's not a toggleable. On the other hand, pushing then the L3 button will put you in the point and click mode, which is a bit like playing with the mouse somewhat, but this is for more selecting things directly. So while we're on the subject of picking things up, let's head over there, since there's some items here. So with the X button you can loot, or you like open things, and with the triangle we can take all. With the square button you can, for example, send items to camp directly. Oftentimes there is like a pile of crates or multiple containers to interact with. You can push left on the D-pad to cycle through the different things you can interact with near you, like this. This also works when talking to NPCs and things like that. Another really useful feature when there are a lot of items close to each other is to use the search function. To do this, you have to hold the X button. As you hold it, expands the search area. From here you can interact with all the different objects and containers as well. Then, to get into the meat and potatoes of the controller, is the action wheels. You can push R1 or L1, and you don't have to hold these buttons. If you press R1, you go to the right, and if you press L1 you can cycle through the left, like this. You can add or remove wheels and customize them to your liking. To add a new radial menu, you can push the square button and select Add Radial. When in the radial menu, you can select an empty spot with the left or the right stick. I personally prefer to use the left stick for this, since if I wanted to, for example, cast a spell, I would have to use or press the X button to cast it, like this. In case you want to add an action or an item onto the radial wheel, you you again open it up like this and then select it with, I use then now the left stick, and then you press the square button. You can then select set slot, then you can choose any spell, action or item from your inventory and add it, just like this. So like this. It's very customizable. To remove something the same way, like you open it up and then you push square, and then you can just remove the radial, for example. Then there is the map. We can open with the share or the screenshot button. You can also close it this way again. Another way to get into the map is pulling the the R2 trigger. And here, this is another radial menu. This allows you to get into your character sheet, your spell book, journal, combat log, to take a long rest, to go to camp, short rest, to turn on turn-based mode, to open the map like I just mentioned, also do the alchemy from here. So this is where you get all these things. So to go to your inventory, you can press the character sheet. And this is where I feel the mouse and keyboard has an advantage over the controller version. While it is in no means bad though. To select the items in your inventory, you can pull the the R2 trigger, and then you can move them elsewhere. For example, you can send them to camp, for example, like this. To equip something, you can press X, or you can also select square and then equip from here. Pushing square will actually reveal all the available options to you. So to leave this menu, you can press circle. There you go. Now to manage your party, you can press the left the L2 trigger. And when moving up and down with the D-pad, this allows you to change the party member you want to control. So now I'm controlling Shadowheart. To split the group, you go again to L2, and then you can press the triangle button. So now the group is split. That means that now my other character won't follow me. And to group together again, you just press the square, and then you select all the members of the party you want to group together. So yeah. Now, to make everyone in your group sneak, you can push the down button on the D-pad, like this, like you have to hold it in. And now we're all sneaking. If you just push it very shortly, the down button on D-pad, then you examine something. Also very important on the D-pad is how to jump. You have to press the D-pad up key, or the D-pad up button, and then you can just jump like that. In case you wonder about any of the controls, you can always refer to them here in the options menu. I will make a video for combat with the controller a bit later, so if you're interested in that, please subscribe to my channel. Like this one if you thought it was helpful. Feel free to leave a comment, especially if you plan on getting the PS5 version and waiting for the release. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.